Okay, so we scrambled up our eggs from the last video. What I'm going to show you is a simple one-pan cheddar, vegetarian sausage, and egg scramble. We're using fat-free cheddar in this case, with one ingredient to make it kind of stick together and not be stringy, gooey. You might have seen this fat-free cheddar in other videos, and it doesn't turn out that great. It doesn't melt very well by itself, but with the fat from the egg yolk, it'll be fine. So first thing I'm gonna do is just do a little bit of nonstick in here. All right, and I've added about 1/3 cup of egg whites to 2 egg yolks in here. Well, 2 whole eggs. So the seasoning I like to do is pretty simple with these ones. We'll do some garlic to taste. We like a lot of garlic, so I'm not gonna give you measurements here. You put it in as much as you want. And I like to stir the ingredients in as I go so that they don't clump. Because I find that if I put everything on top of the eggs all at once, they're gonna clump together. Paprika's for afterwards, but I do like to put the pepper inside. Scramble it up again. Well, half of it will stick to the sides of the bowl. And some sea salt. So again, I'm not going to tell you how much to do because this really depends on the person. We like a decent amount of salt, but not too much. And I like to have the salt actually in the egg rather than on top. To me, it's a little bit easier on the taste buds and on the roof of my mouth. I don't know if you've ever had anything really salty, but when it can make contact with skin over time, you can kind of make like a burn feeling on the roof of your mouth or something. And that's no good. We don't want to avoid that. All right, so this is ready. Paprika is going to go on the outside afterwards. And one of the other tricks with eggs is to make sure you cook it low and slow because you don't want to burn your eggs. It smells bad. Any goodies left in there? A little bit of goodies. All right. So nothing fancy here, no whisks or egg beaters or anything needed. Just taking 2 of these. These are like 70 calories a piece, I think. Normally I would air fry them, but because I'm putting them directly into this stuff, I just microwaved them so that they're a little bit softer. So just break them apart, put them on in. These are pretty high protein, by the way, and very low fat, especially relative to other sausage. These are the Morningstar brand. Beyond Meat also sells their own. They're higher in fat and a little bit different flavor-wise. I think that they cook up pretty well in the air fryer, especially if you're gonna put like a bun or something else on top of the grease that they leave behind, because they are greasier than these ones. But I think actually these taste a little bit more sausage-esque. The flavor's on point, the texture's on point. It's just a little bit less fat. So if you like, for example, the flavor of a McDonald's patty, the sausage patties you can get with the breakfasts, I think this tastes closer to that, but with a lot less fat. The Beyond Meat one is closer to the amount of fat you would get there, but definitely not as much still. All right, so we're already starting to brown up. We'll do, where's my spoon? Turn the temperature down so that they can cook a little more evenly. All right. So you don't want to let them sit down for too long either, because then you're gonna have burny parts on the sides. We don't want that. Especially if you start to add more and more egg whites to these to pad your protein intake, for example. It makes it a little bit easier to burn. So I'm going to throw the cheddar in now while it's still mixable. We like cheese, so if you like cheese, do use the fat-free stuff when you can. I think that looks good. One thing we're going to need though sodium citrate. So this emulsifier is what's going to help it be gooey and stringy and not gross. So if you ever had American processed cheese, little cheese squares, and you've made grilled cheese out of that, and they're very stringy, it's got a bunch of sodium citrate in it, and that really helps. So what it does is it binds the fat so that it'll keep everything kind of together as it heats up. So no added fat needed, apart from whatever we sprayed in the pan for nonstick. The egg yolk will do the rest for us. You can already see the cheese melting. Let's go ahead and try to coat everything. If you've ever had cheese, when you made cheese like just from something grated and you melted it and expected to be able to make a great dip out of it, but it came out kind of granular or chunky or something, it's because you needed sodium citrate. Okay, so this will be ready in just a moment. So keep it moving. Don't let your eggs or cheese burn. This looks super creamy. It looks like nacho cheese dip. So it's just a tablespoon, no, half a teaspoon. What am I talking about? Half a teaspoon of sodium citrate. You can get it on Amazon. You can probably get it at other stores too. Okay. Now we're starting to firm up. It happens pretty quick. Yeah, it's getting that nice bubbly look. So this is almost done. When it looks like it's not quite done yet, that's when it's time to turn the pan off, because it's going to keep cooking and they cook quick. So I like to unscrape any of the cheese and stuff that's on the sides. It doesn't look too appealing, but this pan's already kind of worn out. So if you have a better nonstick, then you won't get quite so much goo stuck to the sides, but that's okay. Doesn't really change the flavor. All right, so this is egg, cheese, and sausage all stuck together, one big pot or pan, and it's a super simple way to make it for the morning or whenever. Now I'm gonna put some out. I'm just gonna reuse this plate for myself. I'll get a better one for Natalie. See, it's like the gooiness is wrapped up with the egg in there. It's all kind of folded together, very much just a big blobby mess. Ooh, it's hot and it feels really good. Okay, it's very hot, so don't stick your finger in it, but do finish it with some paprika. Sweet paprika, don't do smoked, not for this one. And a little bit of salt if you want it. And that's it.